They are celebrating in the Motor City. Detroit basketball survives and advances to the Eastern Conference semifinals with a 116-94 win over the Orlando Magic as we welcome you to a weekend edition of the Association. I'm John Fanta, joined by the fourth overall pick in the 1997 NBA draft, 1999 NBA champion Antonio Daniels. Antonio, they are celebrating in Detroit. It sums up how crazy this first round has been that we entered this postseason with 13 teams in the entirety of NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the series. We've now seen two teams do it for 14 and 15, the Sixers and the Pistons, in the last 24 hours. Detroit gets it done. What's your initial reaction right off this game?
And John, you and I were just discussing this. It came down to Detroit's defense. That's been their calling card all year long, right? They don't have to shoot the ball well because their identity has been on the defensive side of the basketball. It was no different tonight. Now, tonight, some shots fell, not just from Cade Cunningham. Tobias Harris was really good. Danish Jenkins was really good. Jalen Duren had one of his more impactful games of this series. But this game in particular, Game 7, came down to the identity of the Detroit Pistons on the defensive side of that basketball.
Cade Cunningham goes for 32 points and 12 assists. Tobias Harris goes for 30 points. We'll get to him in a moment. But you just said it. Detroit disrupted Orlando's offense so many times, particularly in the third quarter. That's when this game really got away from Orlando. They were down 11 at the break, and then Detroit ballooned that to 19 after 3. And they did it with defense, whether it was Thompson, whether it was Danish Jenkins. This was a Detroit defensive clinic. That's been their calling card all year, but they held Orlando to 15 points in the third quarter. Antonio, this is a Pistons team that was down 3-1 in this series. What's it say about them that they came back from it? And they're going to hold home court here as they're the 1 seed. And they're going to meet the winner of the Cavs-Raptors series. That's coming your way on NBC and Peacock at 7:30 Eastern time. You know, if you're a Pistons fan right now, Antonio, what are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously you feel great because you advance. And here's the thing that we know and understand about basketball, John. Offense is inconsistent, right? Sometimes you're going to shoot the ball well, sometimes you're not. Defense travels. Defense travels. And with the Detroit Pistons, again, it goes back to the fact that they don't have to shoot the ball well. There are certain teams that are still remaining in the playoffs that you would think to yourself, they have to shoot the ball well to win basketball games. You have to make it a math equation. The Detroit Pistons, they don't have to shoot the ball well to remain competitively and possibly win games because defense travels. Offense is inconsistent. Sometimes it feels like you're shooting a basketball. Other times it feels like you're shooting a football or a golf ball. Sometimes that ball just does not come off your hands right. But I tell you what, the defensive side of the basketball, they have bought into J.B. Bickerstaff's vision. And that vision is defense, defense, defense. And again, that was the difference in tonight's Game 7 versus the Orlando Magic.
And look, they did shoot 16 of 33 from 3.
That helps.
As a reset to where this team stands, we know that they defend. But for them to get this out of Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris, a combined 62 points, how big is that for them going forward?
Well, it's you know what you're going to get out of Cade Cunningham. When you get to this time of the year and you start to advance, the teams get better, stars get brighter. Cade Cunningham is one of the brightest young stars in this league. The difference tonight, individually, I have to give a ton of credit to Tobias Harris. And I heard Richard Jefferson mention this during the broadcast. This may be the best playoff performance that we've ever seen out of Tobias Harris. And it was needed in a Game 7. Because if you go to the other side and you look at the stats on the other side, look at the difference in balance as you look at this. You have a guy at 38 in Paolo Banchero, and then from there, you have a guy at 16 with Desmond Bane. Now, the balance from Detroit set these two teams apart because you got 32 from Cunningham, 30 from Tobias Harris, 16 from Danish Jenkins, 15 and 15 from Jalen Duren. Duncan Robinson gave you double figures. So it's not just about Cade Cunningham, because stars are going to be stars. But when you get contributions across the board from other guys, it makes Detroit a very, very difficult team to beat.
Second time in 3 years that JB Bickerstaff takes a series in 7 games over Jamal Mosley. When Bickerstaff was the head coach of the Cavs, that's exactly what happened. He takes this Game 7 against one of his best friends. Let's go to the podium now. The head coach of the surviving Detroit Pistons, JB Bickerstaff.
JB, the members of this team have talked, all week, past couple weeks, about how much they feel like they can thrive in high-pressure situations going down in this series. What was it just like watching them address that, attack that head-on, and be able to pull off the comeback?
It's expected. And that's the amount of belief that we have in this group. This is a special group, and, you can't count us out. No matter the circumstances, no matter the situation. I like our chances to fight our way back. And I thought we did a hell of a job of that, obviously, this series.
JB, where would this team be without Tobias? And, I know we talk a lot about him being a safety blanket, but just how meaningful is it as well? Not just 30 in this game, but 20-yard series at least.
Nobody can say shit to me about Tobias Harris, right? He is dependable, reliable, prepared for the moment. He's a leader. He's a great teammate. He's a great human being. He's a high-level competitor. To show up tonight and do what he did when it was on the line the most, it's exceptional. And, I can come up with more adjectives if you want, but I think you get my drift.
JB, how do you think this series shaped the team and will affect them going forward?
I think it was great for us. That's the thing is when you're going through playoff series in these situations, you have to be battle tested. And you have to, be able to respond. And you have to have the experience of having to do that. To do what we did this series only made us better for the next one. And I know, a lot of people would have liked it to just be easier. But I think it was great for our guys to go through what they went through, to understand, what it looks like and where they have to be in order to get it done. We understand that now. We take that with us to the second round.
Hey, Coach, I know Jalen has had his fair share of struggles in this series, but what was it like for you and the team just to see him finally get things going with the double-double of 15 points and 15 rebounds?
Yeah, he impacts the game in so many ways. And I think, people want to focus on, stats and numbers and, points and that with JD, but that's not where he is only, is where he helps us. He does a great job defensively, protecting the rim, communicating our defense. Our defense isn't where it is without the anchors that we have here. And every single night he went out and anchored our defense, and our defense was elite throughout this whole series. So, for him to rebound the ball the way he did, but I think, he started to find his pockets in his space also offensively, because we're going to need all these guys to chip in. But, again, it was great to see him perform the way he did tonight as well.
Obviously a long series, but at what point could you kind of pinpoint the turning point in the shift for you all to get to this point?
I'll be honest with you, I never doubted we were going to win this series. And that's the truth of the matter.
Coach, you had a lot of good defensive versatility. It's a lot of talent on that team. You were able to throw a lot of bodies at Paolo Banchero, kind of cool him off and even withstand some runs. Desmond Bane as well. Kind of talk about what you saw from the defensive versatility and how you guys were able to capitalize against what they threw at you.
We've got individual talents who are willing to take on challenges. We have guys who play with such toughness and grit and a level of competition that they don't want to fold at any moment. And then, the schemes are there to protect them and the communication is elite. So we just got so many guys that want to do it. And I think that's the difference is how many guys can you put on the floor that are committed to really defending the way you want to defend to win playoff basketball games.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Anyway, Tom has been pretty present during the series after games and stuff. So I guess what was his messaging to you and you guys when you guys were down 3-1 and his reaction, I guess, after that comeback, obviously, in Orlando in Game 6?
Yeah, we've been in contact, and he's been extremely supportive the whole time. Whether we were up, down, didn't matter. I was still getting text messages, phone calls from him. We were having conversations. And the thing that I love the most about him is he always asks, like, what do you need? You know what I mean? Like, he's so supportive and willing to do what it takes to help that allows you to do your job in a free way. Just knowing that you have the support. And, again, he's with the guys. He's around. He's in the locker room. So having an owner that, shows his belief in you, no matter good times or bad times, allows people, to play, coach freely and with great spirit.
JB, when you guys were down 3-1, you said you thought you were still going to win it. Did you guys rediscover your defense, reignite it? Did it not go away, or what happened there?
The defense, I don't think, went away. For the most part, we had a couple quarters here and there where we weren't ourselves, but it wasn't the defensive piece for us. It was a matter of us, figuring out how to score more so and be more efficient on the offensive end of the floor. And I feel like as the series went on, we saw what they were doing, how they were guarding us, and we were able to make small tweaks to get guys in certain spots where we could be more efficient. Thank you.
So a confident JB Bickerstaff who said he never doubted that his team would win this series, and they do. They come back from 3 games to 1 down. Look, Antonio, Paolo Banchero went for 38 points. I know he got asked about what they did defensively against Banchero, but Paolo did do his thing. The fact was, Cade Cunningham had Tobias Harris next to him. Paolo Banchero didn't really have anybody in this game.
Right. And I feel like one of the most underrated aspects and variables in today's NBA, and I love what JB Bickerstaff just said about his veteran, Tobias Harris. I feel like one of the most underrated, under-discussed, and undervalued variables in today's NBA is the impact and voice of a veteran, right? Because the NBA has gotten so much younger. Everybody now is a one and done, and they're coming in this league really young. So you get a guy like Tobias Harris that is professional, that shows up, that is reliable, that is consistent, that is the quote-unquote adult in the room. So that way, when the heat is turned up, he's been there before. He's been there before. And they don't just lead with their voice. It helps when you have a veteran on your team that can lead by example. And what I felt like Tobias Harris did tonight for the Detroit Pistons, the Orlando didn't have that same veteran on their side to lead by example and also by his voice. Kudos to Tobias Harris. He was fantastic tonight.
And kudos to Jalen Duren, who's taken some heat in this series, but on this day had 15 and 15 and was tough and played physical. Detroit put Orlando in a blender and closed out this series. It was a physical Piston-style performance. Up next, we'll hear from the other side. Jamal Mosley at the podium. You will hear his reaction next. This is the Association Weekend.
Tatum and Brown reunited, and it feels so good.
The things that we've been able to overcome, we both pushed each other to new heights.
What makes us successful is our work ethic.
Jason Tatum returns. Tatum, welcome back.
We're still encouraging them to get back to that level of aggression that we know. That's